Alright guys, this is the first lesson video. This is modeling with expressions 2.1. Before we get started, just to let you know where this piece of paper came from, I attached it to this video. This is your first notes. If you have a printer, print one off. If you don't, then you're going to need to write this in your notebook on page 6. So that's page 6 of your notebook. Right after that tab, you're going to need to write this down if you do not have a printer to print this off. This does fold, and we're going to talk about folding it in class in a minute. However, if you don't have a printer, then just print it off. Don't worry about folding it. That's not going to matter to you. So we're talking about expressions today. We're going to do a couple of things with expressions. But first, we're going to talk about the key parts of an expression. So first of all, I've got these arrows right here are pointing to coefficients. Coefficients are numbers that are in front of a variable. Okay? Coefficients are numbers that are in front of the variable, and I'm going to highlight those, and I always highlight in a certain order. I highlight the first important piece of information in green. So coefficients, 5 is a coefficient, 9 is a coefficient, 7 is not a coefficient because it has no variable next to it. Okay. Next, I've got an arrow here pointing to the variable. So that is a variable. I'm going to highlight the next important set of information in orange. My variables, x is a variable, and x is a variable. Okay. Next, I have numbers. Any number that has no variable is a constant. A constant. Okay. So 7 or negative 7, the negative goes with it, is a constant, and I'm going to highlight that next important set of information in pink. Constant, negative 7, the negative value does go with it, which means 9 is positive because it's got that plus in front. But I just normally don't write plus 9, I just write 9. Okay. This whole thing here is called an expression. An expression is a set of terms, and we're going to talk about terms, but a set of terms without an equal sign. So there's no equal sign because that will be an equation. So I've got a whole expression there. One last thing that we need to talk about, and I'm going to do that in blue, are something that's called terms. Terms are anything separated by a operation, like a minus, a plus, or whatever. All of these are terms. So those are the important things we need to know from this lesson. We've got, or from this section, coefficients, variable, constant, terms. And anything without an equal sign is an expression. Okay, so we're going to go down here and identify these. So, example 1. Use the following algebraic expression to identify the key parts listed below. So coefficients. I'm going to pick up my green highlighter again. Coefficients are anything that is in front of a variable. 9 is in front of a variable. So is 7. 2, there's no variable. X has an understood 1. So we're actually going to write it right there. 1. That's kind of hard to see it. I'm going to make it a little bit easier to see. See if I can get a different pen to make it better to see. 1. So 1 there. Okay. And negative 4. Remember the operation, the sign comes with it. So my coefficients are 9, 7, 1, and negative 4. And those match with this expression here. My coefficients. Okay. Next, I'm looking for constants. I'm just going to go through here. Constants are in pink. Constants are any number that does not have a variable. So negative 2 is a constant. 5 is a constant. It cannot be both a constant and a coefficient at the same time. So So negative 2 and 5. Okay. Next I have terms. Terms are anything separated by an operation. So we're going to take our blue and box that in. I'm going to box it in on terms here. Terms. Okay. So everything that is separated by plus or a minus sign, and we're going to bring the negative with it, is a term. Yes, constants are terms. Okay, so I'm going to list those out. 9x squared is a term. 7x is a term. Negative 2 is a term. 1x or just x is a term. You write it either way. 5 is a term. Negative 4x squared is a term. Okay, move that so you can see it. Okay. Last but not least, we don't have this written here. This is kind of, we have terms and we've got like terms. You combine like terms. You do that as early as, I think, 6th grade. I might be wrong about that, but as early as 6th grade, I think you do like terms. Like terms are anything that has the same variable and constant, same variable and exponent. So we're going to look at the terms and see if any of these are alike. So it looks like we do have some that are alike, and I'm going to use a marker to a pen to kind of circle them. Over here, I've got 9x squared. 9x squared and negative 4x squared. The reason those are like terms is because they have the same variable, got my orange because it's a variable, and exponent. That makes it a like term. I'm not going to combine them yet, but that's what it means. All right, and then I can keep going. I've got these two. Let's see if we've got any more. I've got 7x. Does it have any with the same variable? Yes. So 7x and 1x, or just x, because they have the same variable. Okay. Next, I've got negative 2 and 5. Yes, they are just numbers, but because they are both constants or just numbers, they are still like terms. So there are how we break apart, how we identify key parts of an expression. Okay. Remember, you're going to ask me questions if you need to. If you've printed this off, I'm going to go ahead and fold it down because we finished this half. Okay. And we're going to do the second part of this. Now, this will not be the whole 2.1 lesson. I'm going to break that up into 2 days. Most of the time I will be breaking them up into 2 days. So you will not be able to do all of the assignment. Make sure you pay attention to which part I asked you to do. Okay. All right, example 2 says, to simplify an algebraic expression, which you've probably done in the past, combine like terms. Remember, terms must have the same variable raised to the same power to be considered like terms. We're going to highlight that in yellow to remember that. Terms must have the same variable raised to the same power to be like terms. I need to remember that. Okay, so we're going to look at letter A here. I'm going to box these in. I've got 8x. I'm going to see if it's got a like term. It looks like it does here, 2x. I'm just going to add the coefficients. 8 plus 2 is 10, and I leave the x alone. It just drops down with it there. Okay, 10x. All right, still got like terms because these are like terms. Negative 9, positive 4. Negative 9 plus 4. If you do not know how to add or subtract or whatever, integers, negatives, whatever, you can use a calculator. But if they're opposite signs, I subtract and I keep the sign of the larger. So 9 minus 4 is 5, so it's negative 5. So I'm just simplifying. I'm just getting the answer 10x minus 5. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. Letter B. If anytime there's anything wrong with these videos, let me know so I can fix it. Okay. All right, next I've got negative 7m. Let me see if I got any more m's. Negative 2m. M. Which, remember, it's got an understood 1 right here, so I'm going to write it down. So negative 7 minus 2 If they're the same sign, remember you can use a calculator if you need to, but I add them and keep the sign. So negative 9 plus 1. Negative 9 plus 1 is negative 8m. Okay. Then I've got negative 4 plus 7. Remember, subtract 4 minus 7, or 7 minus 4, and keep the sign of a larger. It's positive, so this is going to be positive, positive 3. It is a good idea throughout these videos to pause them and try these on your own. So you should probably pause to try letter C, and pause to try letter D. If you're not ready to pause yet, then follow along with letter C and D. But you do need to try some of these on your own before you start the homework. And then let you know if you get the right answer or not, okay? All right, negative 2x squared. Do we have anything in common? Yes, negative 5x squared. They are the same because they have the same variable raised to the same power. So I'm not worried about this at all. I'm not changing that x squared. I'm just going to write it down. Negative 2 minus 5, negative 7. Okay. See, plus 5x. It does not have any like terms. We're going to bring it down. Okay. Negative 4. It does not have any like terms. I'm going to bring it down. And there is my simplified expression. Again, probably pause. Try to figure some of these out on your own. Ask me for help. I will get to emails as fast as possible. Okay. Letter D. Like terms, I've got 11a, a, negative 5a, no more. 11 minus 5 is 6a. Be careful how you write your a's because sometimes they look like 9s. Put a little curly on mine so that it didn't. Okay, next in the line I've got B, understood 1 there, and 2B, or not to be, just kidding, this isn't Romeo and Juliet, or Hamilton? I don't know which Shakespeare that's in. 1 plus 2 is 3B. Okay. Then I've got 8, she's kind of a loner over here, so plus 8. And there's my expression. Give you a minute, pause that, do E and F. Okay, you need to do some of these on your own, so pause, try it out. Okay. Letter E. Negative 10k squared, negative 3k squared, negative 1k squared. Wrong one. Negative and negative, negative 10 minus 3 is negative 13. Minus another one is negative 14. $7k. K. 7 plus 5 is 12k. Remember, I'm not changing the variable or the exponent. Don't change the variable or the exponent. And then 4 plus 4. Okay. Now, letter F. 2x squared. Now, this is y squared, so I can't do anything with that. I'm just going to write x squared. There's nothing else that's like. Okay. 5xy, negative 8xy. Since they're both xy's, I can combine them. 5 minus 8 is negative 3xy. Okay. 7y squared has no like terms, so bring it down. If you have questions, let me know. This is the first day's lesson. This is all we're doing today. We're going to do a quick refresher of what we did above by listing the terms and the coefficients for letter F. Because this is in your homework, I want you to take a minute and list the terms and coefficients. I'm going to put little commas after them. List the terms and coefficients, okay? There are 3 terms. There are 3 coefficients. the terms are 2x squared, negative 3xy, and 7y squared. The coefficients are 2, negative 3, because you can take the negative with it, and 7. Okay. If you printed this off, fold it. If you did not, well, you just get to skip that step. Fold it up, and we're going to glue it in our notebook. Okay. So we've got this completed foldable here. We are going to have to glue it sideways. That's fine. It's not going to hurt. So open your notebook to page 6. Another pen. Page 6. And you are going to label it 2.1, modeling with expressions. And before I keep writing that, I'm going to check. The titles are also always right here. Modeling with expressions. Again, if you don't have a printer, you just wrote that right here. You wrote it all right here. Okay. If you do have a printer, you're going to turn it sideways and glue it in right here on page 6. I do have to glue it sideways. That's okay. Once you are done gluing this in, you are done taking notes today, you're going to go work on the 2.1 homework assignment. I've posted this foldable at the underneath the video. Let me know if you have any questions.